In the presidential Blue House in the capital Seoul, relations between the two Koreas continued to thaw. The meeting had two firsts. Kim Yo-jong is the first member of the ruling family to cross into the South since the Korean War. The sister of the North Korean leader came with a first ever invitation. Kim Jong-un is asking South Korean President Moon Jae-in to come to Pyongyang at a convenient time soon.
문 대통령은 특히
President Moon said early talks between North Korea and the United States are essential to improve relations. He urged North Korea to be more proactive, to move forward, to have dialogue with the United States.
It's unclear when that might happen. The U.S. and North Korea have rebuffed Moon's attempts so far. If an inter-Korean meeting transpires, it will be the first time Kim Jong-un has met with a South Korean president since assuming power in 2011. The last time leaders from the North and South met was 11 years ago during a summit in Pyongyang.
Because of all the global attention, I believe reunification will be brought forth. The government is making efforts, and I think people are rooting for it.
Organizers of the Olympics say they've been moved by the diplomatic breakthrough.
It was quite an historic moment and something that, as you know, the IOC have been gently working for since probably 2014. You know, I think it shows, it opens the door maybe just a little bit.
Critics say they doubt that door will ultimately open much more. For now, there's hope that the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics is the catalyst for a reboot in inter-Korean relations.
Very significant. What prompted this?
I think it's a very smart move by the North Korean leader who's trying to split the South Koreans away from the Americans. And it's a reminder just how shrewd an operator he is. He may be young, may be inexperienced, but he's certainly very shrewd at politics.
But the South Korean President Moon Jae-in had to acknowledge this. He was basically elected on the basis of him saying he was going to try and improve relationships with the North.
Absolutely. And I think that summit conference will go ahead. So the South Korean leader will eventually go to North Korea for the negotiations. Absolutely, he's got to honour that. And also, don't forget, the North Koreans have said they're not going to attack South Korea with nuclear weapons. So the nuclear issue is between North Korea and the United States.
So a cunning move by the dictator, or is there some goodwill in here that we can hang on to?
No, well, I don't think leaders are ever motivated by goodwill. I'm very suspicious of it. And you can tell from the American reaction that they actually hate this, because they can see that the North Koreans will continue with the development of the nuclear weapons and be in a ready position to attack the United States. And you can tell from the behaviour of the Vice President and the Second Lady at the South Korean
what do you make of that?
Well, you know, it's just amazing. You get the Vice President's wife sitting so close to the North Koreans' major person and just ignored them. And of course, the United States Vice President had just gone to South Korea via the former colonial power to Japan and said they were going to step up sanctions against North Korea. So it's actually a four-way struggle. You've got the two Koreas, and you've got America, and you've got Japan.
Mike Pence has faced some criticism for it, saying, you know, he should have just shaken hands. But as you said, all politics is local.
All politics is local. He could not afford to be seen to be smiling at this North Korean leader, because that'll get back to the United States, and the Americans hardliners, remember, they have demonised that family. And so he can't afford to be seen to be acting in a friendly way towards them.
Today we thought it was important to make sure that the truth was told.
I will do my best in all directions for peace on the Korean Peninsula. If needed, I will fly to Washington right away. I will visit Beijing and Tokyo. And if it becomes possible, I will also go to Pyongyang.
Kim Jong-un invited South Korea's president to Pyongyang for a summit in hopes of easing tensions between the rival nations.
I will do everything I can to firmly establish peace on the Korean Peninsula.
I was just outside the gates as he embarked on his new career as leader of South Korea.
This is the motorcade of the newly inaugurated President Moon Jae-in. He was just sworn in here in the National Assembly, and then there's crowds of people waiting for him outside as he came through with his motorcade and actually stuck his arm out the window to wave to the people.
When I saw his waving hand, I thought to myself, I'm here at the right time. I expect a lot of things from him.
Korea is very chaotic right now, and there are a lot of things to settle. I expect a new administration might do something good to develop our country.
Moon has already named former spy Soo Hoon head of the country's intelligence agency.
Soo played a key role in arranging and negotiating the June 15th and October 4th Inter-Korea summits. He is the best person to handle North Korea affairs.
In the region, Chinese President Xi Jinping and Japanese President Shinzo Abe both say they look forward to working with Moon on North Korea. But what does Moon have in mind? North of Seoul, the Korean Demilitarized Zone, or DMZ, intersects the 38th parallel, a dividing line between North and South made before the Korean War. In an armistice agreement that put an end to the fighting in 1953, the North and South agreed to move back their troops about 2,000 meters from the demarcation line, creating what is now the DMZ. Relations have been icy and sometimes dangerous and deadly, but the border area experienced increased interaction during the past liberal administration in South Korea, of which now President Moon was a part of. At the Kaesong Industrial Zone in North Korea in the early 2000s, South Korean companies did business in the country with North Korea's cheap labor. And in 2007, freight trains began crossing the border north of Dorasan Station for the first time in more than 50 years. But North Korea closed its border a year later, accusing South Korea of having confrontational policies after the Conservative Party won the election and promised to be tough again on Pyongyang.
Now President Moon Jae-in used to be chief of staff for Roh Moo-hyun. He was president when these tracks first opened up in 2007. Well, it didn't last long, but Moon has indicated that he would like to not only open back up these tracks, but also expand the Kaesong Industrial Complex.
Now that Moon's in office and promising to be a president that serves all the people, it remains to be seen if he can get the government, a divided nation, and the U.S. on board with his plans.
남북 관계가 어렵더라도 민주 평통이 추진하는 다양한 통일 사업에 대한 지원을 아끼지 않겠습니다. 주어지는 것이 아니라 만들어 가는 것입니다.